Nathaniel Cross was sweating through a $3,000 suit when I walked into his boardroom. For once, there were no cameras, no charity banners, no giant company logo behind him, no reporter waiting to hear him talk about ethics. Just 12 empty leather chairs, 2 restructuring lawyers, 1 federal monitor, and a stack of documents thick enough to end the company he had spent 20 years pretending was immortal. Nathaniel looked at me, then at the scar beneath my left ear. His face emptied. "Camilla?" I placed my briefcase on the table. "Hello, Nathaniel." He stood too fast. The chair rolled backward. "No." For 5 years, he had believed I was either broken, buried, or too poor to matter. That belief had been one of his best assets. Until now. The restructuring attorney beside me opened a folder. "Mr. Cross, Vanguard Capital Partners has acquired the senior secured debt held against Cross Meridian Chemicals." Nathaniel looked at him, then back at me. "Vanguard?" I sat down. "My fund." His mouth opened. Nothing came out. I almost smiled, not because the moment was funny, because 5 years earlier this man had sat across from me in a different room and used my dying mother to buy my confession. Now he wanted me to save him. There are symmetries you imagine for years. The real ones are quieter. Nathaniel looked at the contract. "How much? How much what? But a bailout." "There is no bailout." "There is no bailout." His eyes hardened. "Then why are you here?" I slid 1 page toward him. "A court-supervised debt for equity restructuring," he read. His hands started shaking. "You're taking control. The creditors are. You are the creditors, among others." He flipped pages faster. "You can't do this." The federal monitor spoke for the first time. "It's already approved, subject to final board consent and bankruptcy court confirmation." Nathaniel turned. "What court?" That question told me everything. He still believed corporate collapse happened only when a CEO admitted it. No, collapse happens in filings, lean priorities, covenanters, misdisclosures, loan agreements, and if you are very arrogant, in the moment someone else finally reads them. He looked at me again. "What do you want?" I stared at him. 5 years earlier, I would have had an answer. Revenge. His company. His money. His fear. Now, access to the environmental records you buried. His face changed, not dramatically. A tiny movement near the jaw. "Enough," I continued. "All remediation files, all property development records, all internal correspondence connected to Site 14. He tried to laugh. "There is no Site 14. The restructuring attorney opened another folder. Then your problem just became worse." He placed a warrant copy on the table. "EBA Criminal Investigation Division." Nathaniel stopped breathing. His phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Then continuously. He looked at the screen. I did not need to see it. By then, federal and state teams were already executing environmental search warrants on multiple cross-meridian properties, including the land beneath Nathaniel's luxury estate. Not because I had hacked blueprints, not because anyone had secretly poisoned his children for revenge, because an archived engineering survey, whistleblower testimony, waste hauling, invoices, and groundwater anomalies created probable cause, evidence, evidence. Nathaniel stared at me. "You did this." I shook my head. "No, you came back to destroy me. No." "Then what is this?" I leaned forward. The bill. 5 years earlier, I was 23 and still believed promises mattered more when rich men whispered them. My mother Miriam had late-stage pulmonary disease. Not terminal in the sense that death had a date. Terminal in the way insurance companies, specialists, and hospital billing departments slowly teach you that medicine can keep someone alive long after money runs out. She needed oxygen support, specialist care, home nursing, frequent admissions. I was a junior process engineer at Cross Meridian Chemicals, entry-level salary, 60-hour weeks, 16 loans, medical debt. I had exactly 2 expensive things in my life: my mother's care and hope. Nathaniel knew both. Cross Meridian was a regional chemical manufacturer with plants in 3 states, industrial coatings, solvents, metal treatment compounds. Nothing glamorous. Nothing most people would recognize. Nathaniel made it glamorous anyway. This really talked about sustainability on television, hosted charity dinners, sponsored environmental scholarships. paid consultants to produce glossy reports showing green leaves beside factory stacks. Inside the plants, reality was less polished, maintenance deferred, safety complaints buried, waste contractors changed too often, compliance staff quit. I noticed things junior engineers always do because we're the ones closest to the process and farthest from the incentives to ignore it. At Plant 7, certain waste volumes stopped matching production. The disposal manifests said one amount. The process logs implied more. I asked my supervisor. He said, rounding. The gap was too big, I asked again. He stopped inviting me to meetings. Then came the federal investigation. Anonymous tip, unpermitted disposal. Cross Meridian had moved toxic industrial waste through false invoices and undocumented routes. Thousands of gallons over years. Not one dramatic midnight dump. A system. Small deviations repeated until they became a crime. The Justice Department subpoenaed records. EPA inspectors arrived. The board panicked. Nathaniel called me into his office. I had been at the hospital with Mum until 4 that morning. She had developed a novel sensation. I was still wearing the same blouse. Nathaniel closed the door. Sit, I did. He had tissues on his desk. That should have warned me. He looked exhausted. Maybe some of it was real. Camilla, this company employs 800 people. I know. The government wants someone accountable. I stared. What does that have to do with me? He sighed. There are process authorizations tied to a login. My stomach dropped. What? Plant 7? No. He slid papers toward me. Approval records. My employee ID. My digital initials. A waste routing exception. I stared. I never signed this. Nathaniel leaned forward. I believe you. That sentence was the hook. He believed you. The CEO, power, authority, maybe rescue, he continued, but federal prosecutors won't understand how these systems work. Then explain it. Would you can? Good, but that takes years. I frowned. And? He clasped his hands. Your mother is in St. Numit. Vincent's private pulmonary unit, right? Every muscle in my body tightened. How do you know that? HR benefits. I stood. He gestured gently. Please, no. Camilla, sit. I did not. He took a breath. The company can place Miriam into the Cross Foundation Medical Support Program. I stared. What? Private room. Full respiratory coverage. Whom care if she stabilizes? My heart stopped. Why? Because I want to help you. No. He wanted to buy something. I knew that even then. I just did not know what I was worth. He pushed another document across the table. A statement. Not a full confession at first. A process responsibility acknowledgement. Language saying I had bypassed disposal protocol under production pressure. I laughed. No. Listen, no. If you take responsibility for the operational decision, the board can isolate the issue. I didn't make the decision. I know. Then why would I sign? His eyes filled. Actual tears, or excellent ones, because I can save your mother. The room disappeared. He said, you cooperate. The company pays for her care. Legal team handles everything. You get a reduced sentence. When you come back, you have a job. A job? Vice President of Process Integrity. I stared. He smiled sadly. You'll have a future here. My phone buzzed. Hospital, I answered. A nurse. Mom's oxygen levels had worsened. I needed to come. Nathaniel watched my face, then said quietly, I can make sure money is never the reason she loses care. That sentence bores me. Not immediately. 3 days, lawyers, meetings, company counsel I thought represented me. They did not. That matters. They represented Cross Meridian. I was told corporation would review favorably. I was told the evidence already pointed toward me. I was told a plea could limit exposure. I was scared. Mum was scared. I did not tell her the whole truth. Only the company's helping. She held my hand. Don't sacrifice yourself for me. I laughed. Mom, I'm serious. I'll be fine. That lie became the last promise I ever made casually. I signed. The plea was worse than Nathaniel's first paper. False statements, responsibility for unauthorized disposal, obstruction-related conduct based on records I had supposedly altered. I admitted things I had not done. The court gave me 5 years, not 3. Nathaniel called it a setback. He visited once before sentencing. Held my hands. I'll keep my word. I looked at him. Saw my mother taken care of every month, even if something happens to me. He frowned. "Nothing is going to happen to you." I wish I had understood how sinister reassurance can sound after someone has already purchased your silence. Federal prison smelled like bleach. Old concrete, detergent, and too many people sharing too little air. I had never been in a fight, never been arrested, never missed a rent payment. Then one metal door closed and none of that mattered. Prison does not care about the story you told yourself before intake. My first month, I counted days, 1,400 plus, then stopped. Mum called every Sunday. Cross Foundation had moved her into a private facility, a good room, good respiratory team. She sounded better. I told myself I made the right choice. Not morally, practically. She is alive. That was enough. Day 32, she did not call. Day 33, nothing. I filed a phone request. Day 33, nothing. I filed a phone request. Day 34, a case manager found me. Your mother was discharged. I stared. What? From the private facility? No. Funding terminated. My chest went cold. By who? She looked at the paper. Cross Foundation. I called every number I had. Hospital. Foundation. Nathaniel's office. No answer. Mum's old phone disconnected. I called a public hospital, then another, then a shelter. Nothing. 4 days later, my aunt reached me. Her voice was barely recognizable. Camilla, what happened? Silence. Where is Mom? My aunt started crying. She had been transferred out of private care when payment stopped. Public placement was delayed. A discharge coordinator arranged temporary transport. Mom deteriorated. She became disoriented. She was found outdoors during a severe winter storm. She died from exposure complicated by her illness. I do not remember dropping the phone. I remember the wall, grey paint. A woman beside me saying, "Sit down." I remember saying no, as if refusing the sentence could undo the fact. My mother had died, not because Nathaniel personally placed her on a bench. Reality was uglier. He cut the funding he promised. Systems failed around her. She became one sick person moving between institutions with no advocate. And I was locked away because I had trusted the man who removed me from her life. Grief inside prison has nowhere private to go. No bedroom door, no long drive, no disappearing into a friend's apartment. You cry under fluorescent lights. You learn which bathroom stall has a latch that works. You stop because camp begins. 3 days later, prison staff allowed me to watch a news segment. Cross Meridian CEO Nathaniel Prospan's funeral for displaced local mother. I stared. There he was. Black suit. The mayor beside him. A huge ceremonial check to a community health charity. The reporter said, Cross called Miriam Vale's death a tragic reminder of gaps in America's health safety net. I laughed. Then screamed. The television room went silent. Nathaniel said on camera, "No family should face this alone." I threw a plastic chair, not at anyone, at the wall. Officers restrained me. I kept screaming, "Hey, she cut her funding!" The clip went online. Prisoner daughter blames CEO after mother's death. The Nathaniel's PR team responded, Cross Meridian provided extraordinary voluntary support and cannot comment on confidential beneficiary matters. Extraordinary support. Voluntary. Language. Always language. I filed grievances, letters, requests to contact federal investigators. One prison call reached a reporter. I said, Nathaniel framed me. The next day, a guard told me, "You should stop making noise." I looked at him. Why? He smiled. Noise gets attention. The attack happened 2 days later. I will not describe it in detail. An inmate entered a shower area during a supervision gap and attacked me with a homemade sharp object. I remember shock, tile, water, a hand at my neck, then voices. Medical staff saved me, the wound left a scar. Investigators later found evidence that the supervision failure was not accidental. Money had moved. A guard eventually pleaded guilty to taking a bribe tied to an outside intermediary connected to Cross Meridian security. Not enough at the time to charge Nathaniel personally. Enough to confirm what my body already knew. Someone wanted me quiet. I woke in the infirmary with bandages around my neck. A woman sat across from me reading the financial pages. Her name was Desmond Vale. Yes, Desmond was a woman. Everyone assumed otherwise from the nickname. Through 61. Former hedge fund founder. Serving time for securities crimes related to insider trading and disclosure fraud. Brilliant. Arrogant. Annoying. She looked at me. You're a capital girl. I turned away. She looked at me Your skeptical girl. I turned away. She continued, CEO scapegoat. I looked back. Go away. No. Why? You got attacked 24 hours after telling a reporter you were framed. Thank you for the summary. She smiled. Good. Sarcasm survived. I hated her immediately. We became friends slowly, not because she taught me how to destroy companies, but because she taught me how to read them. Balance sheets, debt schedules, loan covenanters, environmental liabilities, insurance reserves, related party transactions, how companies hide problems without necessarily committing fraud, how criminals sometimes hide fraud by making it look like normal accounting complexity. Money is cowardly, Desmond said. What does that mean? It leaves records because nobody wants to carry cash forever. I studied prison library, old finance textbooks, corporate law, environmental reporting, bankruptcy, forensic accounting. I read letters to legal clinics. One answered, the Environmental Accountability Project. They reopened questions around my conviction, not enough to free me immediately, enough to preserve records. Desmond had no secret offshore empire to hand me. That fantasy would have made a better movie. She had contacts, people who still respected her brain even if they disliked her ethics. One was Michael Thorne, an investment manager who specialized in distressed industrial companies. He visited Desmond. She introduced me through supervised correspondence after clearing it with counsel. Thorne asked one question, do you understand cross-meridian better than Nathaniel? Prove it. I did. Debt, plants, waste liabilities, insurance gaps, deferred maintenance. The public company was weaker than it looked. Nathaniel had spent years expanding to outrun old problems. New facilities funded old compliance failures. Acquisitions covered cash flow instability. Charity covered reputation. By the time I left prison, Cross Meridian had become a tower built on refinancing. I served 4 years and 7 months after good time credit and post-conviction review reduced the sentence. My conviction was not fully vacated yet. That took longer. But one count fell after evidence showed document manipulation by a cross-meridian contractor. The case cracked. I walked out with 3 things: a scar, a box of books, and a consulting agreement with Thorne's fund. Vanguard Capital Partners, real, regulated, audited, no shadow fund, no secret mob money, a distressed investment firm with more lawyers than I thought any business should possess. I became an analyst, not director, not apex predator, analyst. That mattered. Power you earn slowly feels different from power handed to you in revenge fantasies. I work chemical companies, environmental liabilities, plant economics, insurance, debt restructurings. I was good, very good, because I understood what happened when a balance sheet ignored physical reality. Waste does not disappear because an executive removes the line item. The risk does not vanish because compliance changes the label. After 2 years, I led deals. After 4, I became managing director. By then, Cross Meridian was in trouble. Nathaniel had expanded into specialty materials at the worst possible time. Debt high, margins falling, 2 plants under review, a labor dispute, environmental reserves suspiciously low. Vanguard began buying Cross Meridian bonds in the open market, legally, slowly, no fake projects, no shell company traps. We simply bought what other investors no longer wanted: debt. Enough debt becomes influence. Nathaniel called Vanguard seeking rescue financing before he knew I worked there. My team took the meeting without me. He pitched growth, innovation, strategic realignment, the same words CEOs use when the building is on fire, but the quarterly deck needs blue arrows. Our analyst asked, "What are your unresolved environmental liabilities?" Nathaniel answered, "Immaterial." That word came back to me. Marcus, my colleague, flagged it. Feels wrong. It is. How wrong? I don't know yet. We hired environmental diligence specialists, public records, old permits, property histories, waste manifests. One company name appeared repeatedly. Lakeview Hauling. Defunct. It had moved cross-meridian waste during the years tied to my case. The disposal destination records were incomplete. A retired driver agreed to talk. He remembered nighttime deliveries. Not details precise enough for court. Enough to identify land, Nathaniel's estate. That sounded impossible. $20 million home. Private grounds. Residential property. Why would industrial waste go there? We checked historic land ownership. Before the mansion, the parcel had belonged to a Cross Meridian subsidiary, then transferred to Nathaniel personally through a development entity. An old engineering firm had surveyed the site. The archive still existed. Blueprints showed unusual sub-foundation voids and reinforced access areas not typical for the design. Not proof of buried drums. A question. We turned everything over to council. Council contacted EPA investigators handling the reopened Cross Meridian matter, and they did the rest. No private digging, and no trespassing, no secret probes. Regulators collected groundwater data from lawful locations. The contaminants appeared chemistry consistent with materials used by Plant 7. Not proof. More probable cause. Then the driver gave a sworn statement. Another former employee confirmed. A contractor produced invoices. The evidence finally connected. I learned something important during that investigation. Nathaniel's children had chronic health problems, fatigue, neurological symptoms, repeated unexplained issues. I froze when I heard. Old Meter version, powered entirely by rage would have seen poetry. He buried poison under his own family. Karma. No, children are not karma, they are children. I told council, notify authorities immediately if there's credible risk. They already had. The family was moved out before invasive testing began. That mattered more than timing my revenge. I had spent years wishing Nathaniel would feel exactly what I felt. Then the real possibility of innocent people being harmed made the fantasy disgusting. Justice does not improve by adding victims. The environmental investigation remained sealed. Cross Meridian's financial collapse accelerated separately, one bond covenant breached, then another. Vanguard held enough senior debt to lead restructuring talks. Nathaniel called us desperate. I made a bridge, and a committee reviewed. No. Equity rescue? No. Asset sale? Maybe. The board finally hired restructuring counsel. That brought me to the boardroom. Now Nathaniel sat across from me staring at federal search warrant paperwork. His phone buzzed again. He answered. His wife's voice came through faintly. They evacuated the house. Nathaniel stood. What? The kids are at the hospital. His face collapsed. For 1 second, he became only a father. I looked away. I hated him. Still, I did not enjoy that. He ended the call, then stared at me. You knew that investigators had evidence. My children. I told counsel to prioritize safety. He laughed bitterly. Safety? Yes. You sent agents to my home. No. Your people found this. Yes. He slammed both hands on the table. You waited. I stood too. No. Silence. I did not wait for your children to get sick. He stared. The moment our diligence team found credible evidence of an active hazard, it went to regulators. His face twisted. Don't pretend you're moral. I'm not. I looked at him. I'm careful. That was different. The federal monitor interrupted. We need signatures, not the entire company for $1. That would have been cinematic nonsense. The restructuring converted secured debt into controlling equity, wiped out much of Nathaniel's shareholder position, replaced the board, and placed environmental remediation under court-supervised funding priorities. Nathaniel did not have to sign away his life. He had to acknowledge a deal. Creditors could confirm without him if statutory requirements were met. He signed because the alternative was liquidation. My fund became the largest shareholder. I became interim chair, not sole owner, no throne, governance again. Nathaniel was removed as CEO. The board appointed an independent operator. I did not fire him personally. I watched the vote. 9-1. He was the one. Then federal agents arrested him, but for environmental terrorism. For alleged conspiracy, obstruction, environmental crimes, corporate fraud, and conduct connected to my original case as new evidence developed. The assault on me became part of a separate conspiracy investigation, after prosecutors traced the bribe chain further. No one charged him with murdering my mother. They could prove he cut promised medical funding. They could prove the foundation ended coverage after my sentencing. They could prove internal messages showed he wanted to close the Camilla liability. That phrase destroyed me. Close the Camilla liability. My mother was part of a liability. I was part of a liability. Human beings converted into accounting language. One message from Nathaniel to his chief of staff said, once Miriam is off the program, Camilla has no leverage when she comes out. That was the hidden truth. He did not stop funding because of budget problems. He stopped because my mother's care was the promise keeping me quiet. Once I was locked away, the promise became expensive. He removed it, not by directly ordering her death, but deciding her survival no longer served him. That was enough evil for me. The environmental search at the estate found buried industrial waste beneath sections of the property, not thousands of open barrels stacked neatly like a movie, corroded containers, contaminated soil, chemical residues. A concealed disposal area beneath earlier construction layers. Testing confirmed long-term leakage. Nathaniel's family entered treatment. Some conditions were consistent with exposure. Doctors were careful about causation. Good. I had learned to hate certainty used for storytelling. The children later sued Cross Meridian and Nathaniel personally. I did not interfere. They deserved independent counsel. Before the cleanup plan was approved, I had to walk through Plant 7 again. I did not want to. The site had been shut down months earlier. No workers, no steam, no alarms, just yellow inspection tags and the stale smell of a place that once ran around the clock. An EPA investigator named Lena Ortiz met me at the gate. She handed me a respirator. Industrial hygiene requirement. I stared at it. 5 years earlier, I had worn the same style of protection during process inspections. My hands started shaking. Lena noticed. We can stop. No, Camilla, I know. Choice. Again, that word followed me everywhere after prison. We entered. The mixing hall looked smaller than memory. A row of tanks, corroded pipes, control panels with blank screens. The room where I had once asked why the waste totals did not match was still there. My old desk had been removed. A faint rectangle remained on the floor. Lena said, "Your original email survived." I turned. "What email?" "To your supervisor." She pulled a copy from her folder. Subject, waste volume discrepancy, Plants 7. My email. Dated 3 weeks before Nathaniel called me into his office. I read, "The disposal manifests do not reconcile with production records. Please confirm whether an alternate waste stream exists outside the logged contractor process." I stared. That one email could have changed my trial. It had not been produced. Where was this? Archived mailbox. Why didn't prosecutors have it? We're still determining that. Later, investigators found that Cross Meridian's outside e-discovery contractor had excluded an entire mailbox archive from the original production after receiving instructions to narrow search terms. The contractor claimed mistake. Internal messages suggested pressure from company counsel. Not every lawyer knew. Not every employee participated. Again, specificity. The recovered email became one more reason the government supported vacating my conviction. I had not been the engineer hiding the discrepancy. I had been the engineer reporting it. Lena watched me read. "You okay?" "No." "Want to leave?" I looked around. The building had taken 4 years of my life without moving an inch. "No." We kept walking. At the wastewater loading area, an investigator showed me old camera locations. One had faced the contractor lane. The footage from the month before the federal raid had been overwritten. Normal retention, the company had claimed. But a maintenance invoice showed storage had been expanded at the same time, meaning the system should have retained more. Another contradiction, not proof by itself, more weight. The case was not a smoking gun. It was hundreds of grams, eventually becoming a ton. We stepped outside. Wind, cold. I removed the respirator. Lena said, "People think environmental cases are about dirt. What are they about? Records?" I laughed. Of course. She smiled. "You sound disappointed." "No." I looked back at Plan 7. Records saved my life twice. The environmental restructuring required community meetings. I attended the first against everyone's advice, not because it was dangerous, because people were angry, rightfully. The residents had spent years complaining about smells, discolored runoff, and unexplained illnesses. Cross Meridian had answered with brochures. One man stood. "My wife has cancer." I felt the room tighten. He pondered. "Your company did this." No one knew whether that was medically provable. That did not make his anger less real. I stood. "I'm not going to tell you what caused your wife's illness." He looked furious. "But I will tell you the company failed to investigate your complaints honestly." Silence. "Unless failure is documented." He sat slowly. A woman in the second row raised her hand. "Are you going to pay us? Claims will be handled through the court process and settlement program." People groaned. I understood. Corporate language. Again, I said. I know that sounds like a way to avoid answering. A few people nodded. I didn't control individual outcomes. Independent claims administrators do. Convenient, someone shouted. Yes, that surprised them. I continued. It is convenient that I cannot personally decide who gets paid. It should be. The room quieted. You should not have to trust me. That became another lesson. Good systems reduce the amount of faith ordinary people need to place in powerful individuals. Nathaniel had built everything around personal trust. Trust me, I will take care of her. I know what's best. I built my work around verification. Show me the rule. Show me the record. Who reviews the decision? Who can appeal? Who is independent? That was less emotionally satisfying. Much safer. The community board later included residents, environmental scientists, labor representatives, and one former cross-meridian operator who had repeatedly raised safety concerns. He told me, I hated you when the case first happened. Reasonable. I thought you dumped it, I know. He looked embarrassed. I told reporters, I know you don't hate me, I thought. No, why? Because you believe the evidence you were given, he nodded. He nodded, because you believed the evidence you were given. He nodded. Then, bad evidence. Yes. He joined the board. Months later, he found a remediation contractor overstating disposal volumes. We fired the contractor. That saved millions. More importantly, it prevented another false record from becoming normal. The prison guard case also reopened. The guard who had taken the bribe was named Curtis Hale. No relation. He had pleaded guilty years earlier to corruption. At the time, prosecutors could not prove who ultimately funded the payment. A new cross-matriarchy in security records changed that. An outside security consultant had received a risk mitigation transfer the week before my attack. $10,000 moved from that consultant to an associate of Curtis, then another payment. The consultant cooperated after indictment. He said Nathaniel's chief of security had asked him to discourage further public allegations from Vale. The phrase again, discourage, corporate words making violence sound administrative. Did Nathaniel personally order the attack? The evidence eventually supported conspiracy charges through intermediaries, but the case was heavily litigated. I did not pretend certainty before the verdict. I had learned what wrongful certainty could do at trial. The prosecutor showed Nathaniel's message: if Camilla keeps talking, every agreement becomes worthless. Then, handle the prison issues through outside security. I did not want details. The defense argued that meant legal communication restrictions. The jury had to decide in context. They heard from the security consultant. They heard from Curtis. They saw transfers. They convicted on the related count. I watched. No smile. Just breath. Afterward, Priya asked. No smile, just breath. Afterward, Priya asked. No. Good. Ha ha laughed. Oh, why good? Closer is a marketing word. That sounded like something Desmond would say. Maybe they had both become annoying in compatible ways. The children's medical case against Nathaniel stayed separate from mine. I never met them. I did not need to. One was 16. One, 12. They deserved lives where strangers did not treat their diagnoses as an ending to my revenge story. Their attorneys asked Meridian to preserve all site records. We complied. They requested medical monitoring funds. The restructuring court approved a reserve. Again, no personal decision from me. Nathaniel's wife Felice sent a letter through counsel, not to apologize, to ask whether I'd known about the property contamination before the family moved out. I answered through Priya. Now, once credible evidence of an active residential hazard was established, it was promptly reported to regulators. That was all. Weeks later, Ali sent another message. Thank you. I stared at it. Not forgiveness, not friendship, the mother recognizing that I had not used her children as leverage. That mattered more than I expected. I had spent years telling myself Nathaniel deserved to lose what he loved. When I finally held power near something he loved, I learned I did not want that kind of victory. I wanted him accountable. I did not want children sick. Those are different moral systems. I chose one. The company funded cleanup under court oversight, not charity, responsibility. Cross Meridian's name became toxic. We renamed the surviving operating business Meridian Materials after restructuring. Locked to erase history, the legal entity records remained. Public remediation dashboards, environmental reserves, independent community board. Every contaminated site listed publicly. One of my first votes as chair was to fund lifetime medical monitoring for communities around affected disposal areas. An investor objected. unlimited liability. I said, for existing liability. He stopped. Words matter. My conviction was finally vacated 18 months after Nathaniel's arrest. The prosecutor's office joined the motion. New evidence showed cross-Meridian executives had fabricated key internal records, misled investigators, and steered blame toward me. The judge looked at me. Ms. Vale, nothing this court says can restore what was lost. Correct. I nodded. The order cleared my record. I walked outside with Priya, my post-conviction attorney. No confetti. She said, "How do you feel?" "Tired." "Good." "Why good?" "Because people who say euphoric after court usually haven't slept." We got soup. My mother deserved more than being remembered as a plot point, so I built something in her name. Not a giant charity hospital built from a villain's mansion, a medical transition fund, Miriam Continuity Project. It paid for case managers who help medically fragile patients move between private, public, and home care systems without falling through gaps, funding cliffs, insurance transitions, discharge transport, caregiver communication. The exact cracks my mother had fallen through. The program's first director asked, "Do you want your story in the brochure?" "No." "Why?" "Because stick people do not need inspiration." "What do they need?" "A person answering the phone." That became our slogan internally. Answer the phone. Simple. Simple. Nathaniel's trial came later. By then the public story was enormous. Environmental crimes, corporate cover-up, wrongful conviction, prison bribe conspiracy, his children's health, the funeral PR stunt. Reporters called me the vulture. I hated that almost as much as Apex Predator. Desmond loved it. She was out by then. Yes, she eventually left prison. She called me after the first headline. "Vulture. Don't. You used to hate finance. I still hate finance. You're a managing director." Exactly. She laughed for 30 seconds. I visited her apartment. Small, no billions, no empire. She had a consulting ban in certain regulated roles. She taught community college financial literacy. Life rarely respects dramatic character branding. She looked at my scar. "Still ugly." "Thank you. You did good." I sat. "I didn't destroy him." "No." "I thought I wanted to. Of course, I wanted his children to hate him. They probably do. I wanted the company gone. Instead, you fixed it. I don't know if that is enough." Desmond looked at me. Enough for what? I had no answer. That was a problem with revenge. It promises a finish line. Grief does not recognize. Nathaniel was convicted on multiple major counts. The jury saw messages, funding decisions, environmental records, payments, false statements. The government did not need to prove every terrible consequence was his direct intention. It proved what he did. That was stronger. At sentencing, Nathaniel asked to speak. He looked older, not broken, just smaller. "Camilla." I did not look away. "I helped your mother." My chest tightened. He continued. "For months." His lawyer looks nervous. "I did more than anyone else would." That sentence told me he still did not understand. I said nothing. The judge did not permit direct argument from the gallery. "Good." Nathaniel continued. "I made mistakes." Mistakes. He used the word people use when the truth contains too many verbs. He forged. He concealed. He cut funding. He obstructed. He paid. He lied. He framed. Mistakes made them soft. The judge did not. The sentence was long. Years. Financial penalties. Restitution. Environmental cleanup obligations. He lost control across Meridian. His family separated from him. His wife filed for divorce. His children stopped public contact. I did not celebrate. I went to my mother's grave. Snow had melted. Spring. I sat on the ground. They finally said I didn't do it. Wind. Nothing. I should have listened to you. She once told me, "Do not sacrifice yourself for me." I had. Then spent years blaming Nathaniel for making me choose. He did manipulate me. He did lie. The grief had room for both truths. He used my desperation. I signed. Responsibility does not have to be all or nothing. I whispered, "I'm sorry." Then, "I miss you." That was the real sentence, not revenge. Missing. Always. Meridian Materials recovered slowly. We sold dangerous divisions. Closed one plant. Invested heavily in cleanup. Profits dropped. Investors complained, then stabilized. Community lawsuits settled. Some went to trial. Good. People deserved independent outcomes. I stayed as chair for 3 years, then stepped down. Vanguard remained a major shareholder. I returned full-time to investing, but differently. Our fund created an environmental liability review team for every industrial deal. No investment committee could waive it. One partner groaned, "Camilla, you're turning us into regulators." "No, auditors, adults." We walked away from profitable deals because environmental reserves were dishonest. We funded others because remediation plans were credible. And he became less satisfying as a weapon, more useful as pressure. Companies care about the cost of ignoring things when someone finally prices the risk honestly. That was my work, not poisoning empires, making hidden poison expensive to hide. The scar became visible in photographs. PR people asked if I wanted makeup. No. One journalist called it the mark of survival. I corrected him. It's scar tissue. He looked disappointed. Good. Pain does not need branding. I also stopped telling the prison attack story in detail. Not because I was ashamed, because the internet liked it too much. People wanted the wet tile, the weapon, the blood. They wanted transformation to happen at the exact moment violence peaked. Real transformation was slower. It was Desmond making me read a balance sheet when I wanted to sleep. It was filing post-conviction motions. It was learning bankruptcy law. It was understanding environmental reserves. It was years of work. No one becomes lethal on a shower floor. They become different one Tuesday at a time. Miriam Continuity Project expanded to 6 states. The first annual report showed more than 12,000 patients assisted through care transitions. I read the number, then closed the report. 12,000, no camera, no mail, no giant check. Exactly right. One evening, a program coordinator called me. "There's a patient at risk of discharge without home oxygen setup." My throat tightened. "What do you need?" "Vendor bridge funding and transport authorization? Approved through protocol?" "Yes." "Then why are you calling me?" She paused. "I don't know." I smiled. "Good. What? The system works without me." That was the point. So my mother had needed one person to stop a system from dropping her. I built a system that did not require a billionaire daughter's personal attention. That felt better than revenge ever had. Years later, Nathaniel wrote from prison. One letter. I opened it. He wrote, "I know you think I killed your mother." I stopped. Then continued, "I never wanted her dead. I wanted you contained." That sentence was probably the most honest thing he ever wrote. Then, I thought once you served the sentence, you would disappear. I folded the letter. No apology. No understanding. Still, truth. He did not want Mom dead as an end in itself. He wanted my leverage gone. He accepted the risk that she would suffer. That distinction did not comfort me. But accuracy matters even when it is less emotionally clean. I never replied. Desmond asked, "Why keep it? Record." She nodded. Of course, she understood. As I kept 3 documents in my office, my vacatur order, the first environmental remediation report from Site 14, and my mother's last hospital care plan, not as a shrine, a sequence, what was promised, what was hidden, what was corrected. People often ask if I regret signing the confession. Yes. Immediately. Completely. No inspirational answer. I wish I had demanded independent counsel. I wish I had called my aunt. I wish I had trusted my own fear. I wish I had let the company face the investigation without volunteering my life as insulation. But regret is not a time machine. It is information. So every young analyst at Vanguard gets one rule in orientation. If the company lawyer says we're all on the same team, ask who the lawyer represents. People laugh. Then I make them write it down. Another rule, no handshake changes a contract. Another, no promise replaces independent advice. My younger self believed trust meant not checking. Now I know trust survives checking. If someone becomes angry because you read before signing, read more. Nathaniel's empire did not collapse in one glorious night. It shrank, restructured, sold assets, paid claims, funded cleanup, changed leaders. The truth cost billions over time. That was better. No innocent employees lost everything because I pressed a fantasy button. No investors were deliberately burned for catharsis. The people who had profited from concealment paid through legal process. The communities got remediation. The company survived where it could survive honestly. That ending would have disappointed the version of me lying in the infirmary. She wanted fire. I understand her. I love her. I am glad she did not get to decide everything. At 40, I stood outside a new pulmonary transition center in my mother's neighborhood. Small building, glass doors, no marble, The sign read, Miriam Community Center. A nurse came out. Ms. Ortle. Darla Camilla. She smiled. We have a family inside asking about emergency bridge coverage. Then help them. We are. Good. I looked at the entrance. 5 years earlier, Nathaniel Cross had promised to take care of everything. He used those words to make me surrender control. I spent years believing power meant becoming someone who could say the same thing and mean it. Wrong. No one should take care of everything. Good systems distribute responsibility. Lawyers, doctors distribute responsibility. Lawyers, regulators, the case managers, boards, people who can say no to each other. That is what keeps monsters from becoming infrastructure. My mother died because one powerful man believed a promise existed only while it benefited him. I survived because eventually enough people stopped accepting his version of the record. A prison doctor who saved me. Desmond, who taught me numbers. A legal clinic that reopened my case. Thorne, who gave me work instead of pity. Environmental investigators who followed evidence. A judge who signed the vacator. None of them saved me alone. That mattered. Nathaniel had built his identity around being the man who controlled every outcome. CEO, donor, employer, benefactor. He thought power meant people depended on his word. I built my life around the opposite. No one person's word should be enough. Not his, not mine. The boardroom where I first faced him after prison still exists. Meridian uses it now. Different table, different directors. A framed compliance charter on the wall. Boring. Perfect. Once a year, I attend the remediation committee. We review groundwater, medical monitoring, legal reserves, community claims, no applause, no revenge, just work. At the end of every meeting, I ask one question. What are we not pricing yet? Because hidden cost is where Nathaniel built his empire. My mother's care, my freedom, contaminated land, workers' risk, children's health. Everything he refused to count became somebody else's burden. That was his real crime long before the criminal statutes named it. He pushed costs into other bodies. I learned to put them back on the balance sheet. Others not poetic. It is better. People call me ruthless now. Sometimes I am. I walk away from deals quickly. I do not accept verbal assurances. I demand environmental diligence. I do not confuse charm with governance. But ruthlessness is not the scar, not the prison, not Nathaniel. It is knowing exactly what a promise is worth when nobody writes it down. The answer? Almost nothing. My mother's name is written down now, on a center, on a fund, on thousands of patient records showing transitions completed safely, not on a ceremonial donation check beside Nathaniel's face. On work, the kind that keeps happening after cameras leave. That is how I remember, not in snow. Not abandoned, not as tragedy. I remember her telling me not to sacrifice myself. It took me years to obey, but eventually I did.